Okay, so let's dive into something a bit unexpected today. Sometimes you find connections in, well, the last places you'd look.
Definitely. It's often where the really interesting stuff happens.
And today we're looking at, believe it or not, calculus, specifically differentiation.
Right. Which, at its heart, is all about the rate of change.
Yeah.
How fast something is changing at a specific point in time.
Yeah, you think physics, maybe economics, like how fast a car is going or how quickly a stock price shifts. But food, how does food fit in?
Well, that's the fascinating part we found in today's material. It draws this direct line between differentiation and food security
Food security.
and drills down even further, using differentiation to understand nutrient degradation, while food is in storage.
Nutrient degradation.
Yeah,
Do you mean like vitamins fading, the quality going down while it's just sitting on a shelf or in a silo?
exactly that. Food isn't static.
Yeah.
Nutrients break down. It
Mm.
happens at a certain rate, and factors like temperature, light, oxygen, time, they all play a part.
Mm.
And understanding that rate, that's super important for shelf life, for cutting down waste, all of it.
Okay, I see the problem. So the material we looked at is asking, how can this calculus tool differentiation help figure out that specific rate?
Precisely. And what's really neat is the context. The source mentions this is being developed for, like, a website resource
Yeah.
aimed at college students learning math.
Ah, so showing them a concrete, real-world use for differentiation, not just abstract equations.
Exactly. Using nutrient loss as a tangible example, it really brings home the idea that you can model these biological processes with math.
So you could have like a mathematical function that shows how much vitamin C is left in stored orange juice over weeks.
You could. And often these degradation processes follow patterns we can describe mathematically. Things like exponential decay are quite common.
Exponential decay. Okay, now that rings a bell from calculus class. That's something differentiation is perfect for analyzing, right?
Absolutely. You take the derivative of that function, the one representing the nutrient amount, and bang, you've got the instantaneous rate of breakdown.
Wow.
For a student, seeing that connection, seeing how derivatives describe something as real as, I don't know, a vitamin disappearing from stored wheat, that makes the math stick.
So you're saying we could actually use these models to calculate, say, how fast vitamin A is degrading in dried milk powder at different humidity levels, or the rate protein breaks down in beans over winter storage.
That's exactly the potential here. If you can model the rate, you can predict things much better. You can figure out the optimal storage conditions to slow that degradation,
Right. Keep more nutrients intact for longer.
which ultimately helps preserve the nutritional value in our food supply. It's taking this sometimes abstract mathematical concept and applying it squarely to a huge practical issue. Global implications, really.
Yeah, it definitely changes how you might look at, I don't know, that bag of rice in the cupboard or bananas ripening. You're sort of seeing the underlying math.
Mhm.
So this deep dive really was about exploring that core idea from the source material, this powerful, if surprising link. The same math tools for physics problems can analyze how fast food loses its goodness.
Yeah, it just underscores how vital these mathematical models are, especially for rates of change. They help us grasp these complex biological, chemical things happening constantly, even in something as basic as our food.
So a final thought maybe for you listening. What other everyday things that seem totally non-mathematical, might actually be working based on principles you already know from math class? What problems out there could you start looking at with a mathematical eye?